most people know I've experienced something lately, and I do know that being able to understand where a youth is coming from and to reach out to them where they're at and not where you're at, because where you think they should be may not be where they're at. Reaching down and having a relationship to where they're at makes a difference. Also, knowing your youth, being empathetic to their situation or the choices that they make, and know that that is not them, and allowing them to know that they're not their mistake, that they are greater than their mistake. And I try to emphasize that with the youth when I talk to them. I'm a school counselor here at Hickey. They know me as grandma or ma. I tell them they're all my kids. I tell them my story. They tell me theirs, and we kind of like have a relationship, a loving relationship. Even the ones that, like you say, that kid that you say, oh my God, I look at them as a challenge because I figure that that's the one I really need to get to that's on my nerves. Because that's the one that needs me more, because he doesn't know how to have a relationship.
Let's give her snaps.
That's kind of what I got out of most of this, and made me understand. Give me some strategies that you have in here. Yes, eye contact, understanding, and knowing yourself. That child is speaking to you a whole lot. And throughout my career, I've come to believe that child that gets under my skin the worst is the one that God has said, you need to impact him some kind of way, or her, because they need you.
I just got to piggyback off that. Early 20s, trying to figure it out, escaping poverty. I remember getting married really young. I got married and it didn't work out because I came from a home where there weren't two loving adults who loved each other unconditionally and knew how to communicate effectively. So imagine something isn't modeled for you. You're not experiencing it, and now you want to try to replicate it. It's not going to happen, is it? Unless somebody really wants to learn. But here's the thing. When you're meeting young people, like she just said, young people that don't know how to have relationships, or they weren't loved in the proper way. It doesn't mean they weren't loved, but maybe not loved unconditionally. A lot of our young men, I'm going to say this, and I hope that y'all don't take it the wrong way, but a lot of our young men of color are loathed before they're loved. And a lot of us don't get loved until we accomplish something great. Think about it. When we're little, we're told, hey, you get on my nerves. Wish I didn't have you. I'm sick of you. And then they go to school and they're not hearing the same thing from their teacher, but they're getting that attitude, that negative interaction. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. And so here's the thing. At home, they can't really say anything because they're going to get hit. At school, they dig in just to keep a little bit of dignity in front of their classmates. They dig in and then they become disrespectful. And then it becomes a power struggle. It's something we got to think about. Some of these kids are loathed before they're loved. And you know what? We can't teach them all right away, or maybe ever if they leave the program, but we can love them today. And even in that love, I tell them all the time like this, look, I love you, but I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. The world at 18 stops caring. Ain't gonna be no programs. Ain't gonna be none of this. You're on your own, or there's a different facility for you. That's the reality, right? We got to love them and tell them the things they need to hear, but it's got to be done in a way that they know that we care about them. Thank you, Ms. Stokes. Give Ms. Stokes some snaps, y'all.